Good evening and welcome, everybody. Leanne Vine is the first in the house. Well, Kieran Evans is in the house as well. Mark Bibb's in the house. Christopher's in the house. Graham Allison's in the house. Abigail French is in the house. And Tracy Dodds is in the house. Tonight, we have a special guest, and he's in two places at once. He's actually on the circuit board here talking on the chat. Good evening, all he said, and good evening, Sue. And he's actually live talking to me. You'll have to put up with Sue in the background, coughing. Honestly, she's just one pain in the backside at the moment. No, she's not. It's poor thing. Um, so we have live tonight. We have Kieran Evans from Wigan. Good evening, Kieran. How are you?
Good evening. Not bad at all. Nervous, but like I said, we'll have a good chat and we'll enjoy it. So.
See what he said there, everybody? They're nervous. Why the hell is he nervous with me? Come on, why is he nervous? Come on, Kieran. That's your first question. What's making it nervous for you?
I think it's just a natural thing for anybody. You know, if you was to ask like to Gary, Chris, Deval, I reckon they'd get that little bit of nervous. I think it's because of my background more than anything. Very common, not well spoken at times.
What do you mean, very common? What do you mean, very common? What's common? Tell me what's common. What when you say common? You're from Wigan, aren't you?
Ah.
You're not from Wigan. You're from Manchester, Liverpool. Where are you from?
Well, no, I was born in Wigan. Lived here all my life. Absolute dump. Hate it. Can't wait to move. But it's just like for me. Sometimes I get a little bit nervous because we've got some of the backgrounds that the people in the group, like, you know, just honestly, it's like the area that I've grown up in is a different world compared to some of the other guys. What who are in the group, and I mean, I love everybody because I've been accepted. I've never felt out of place, but this is why sometimes I get a little bit nervous.
Right. So your background then is you brought up on a council estate or not? Was that your background?
Yeah, full on. Yeah, council estate, absolute dump, Chris.
So did you? I see you went to college, didn't you?
I did go to college, but
what did you study at college?
I did bricklaying, to believe it or not.
Bricklaying, right?
I did that for a few years, but I've never laid a brick in my life.
All right. So you did the college, but never followed it up.
Well, I've got qualified and did work for a while, but at the time, it was kind of like when I first qualified, I wasn't, you know, you're a beginner. I didn't have the speed the others did.
Yeah.
So you was paid per brick.
Yeah.
So unless you was on long straight walls, I struggled to make money. You know, I wasn't as fast as the others.
Yeah.
And you constantly, you know, rained off, frost. So bad knees, footings, mucky hands, dirty work. Yeah, didn't enjoy it. Nothing worse, I think, than getting up in the morning and drilling, you know, going to work.
So how old are you then, Kieran?
I'm 32.
32. So from bricklaying then, college, what jobs have you had roughly? Just roughly.
Jobs for. I've done a little bit of bits and bobs.
Yeah.
The big jobs, I did bricklaying for like 4 years after I qualified. Then, well, actually, when I first qualified, I went on a bricklaying site. Guy, it was only 2 houses, a little thing. Guy had a sign saying bricklayers wanted. My nan dropped me off there because I wasn't even driving. Basically, he took me on, did the first week. After the Monday and off the second week, he put me into the office and he's like, it was so breaking for me because I thought I'd done something wrong.
Yeah.
He said, listen, lad, there's nothing wrong with you, but we've got a deadline on this house.
Yeah.
It's great you're going at. So I ended up in a food factory.
Yeah.
While there was ham sandwiches coming down a production line.
Yeah.
And my job was I had a box of tomatoes sliced up, and I had every time a sandwich come past, to lay a slice of tomato on it.
Yeah.
I thought, wow, I'm a bricklayer anyway. I'm laying tomatoes.
Laying tomatoes, yeah. But my mate worked in a pork pie factory, and he used to squirt the fucking the jelly into each pork pie. I mean, bricklaying, once you get into it, you can earn good money, can't you? But fucking that sort of job is just manual labour, really, isn't it? You know.
Bad knees, bad back.
Yeah.
Cold, yeah. Christmas, you might as well forget it. Soon, if you have a bad frost, your foot. You know,
Yeah, lay you off, don't they? Lay you off, no pay. Yeah. Yeah.
So then I went into patterned concrete.
Yeah.
Which was like patterned concrete driveways. To be fair, I made good money doing that, a hell of a lot of good money. And I did enjoy doing it, but it was heavy labour again, you know, a lot of time away from kids because it was, you know, the hours that it was doing. And then obviously I got the dog, and that's where it started.
So you got a dog, and how long ago was that then, Karen? You got yourself a dog?
How old is Cooper? Is he 10? He's 10, isn't he? I think Cooper's 10.
That's your cocker.
Yeah.
That's the chocolate cocker.
Fucking backwards. Don't get a chocolate cocker, guys. That's my advice.
Don't get a chocolate cocker. They're backwards. Right. So 10 years ago, you got yourself a chocolate cocker. When did you find me on the internet?
Probably about must have been 6 months after that, because I started with agility. Isn't it?
You did agility, did you, with your dog to begin with? Then you weren't into Gundogs at all at that time, were you?
I didn't know anything, Chris.
No.
I didn't even want a dog. The only reason I got the dog is I went through a divorce with my ex-wife. I ended up back at my dad's. His wife had a daughter who lived there. They had a dog. When they moved out, it was pissing all over the couch. I didn't do anything with it, and I bonded with this dog.
Yeah.
And it was like, we're getting rid. And I didn't want to see it go to anyone else. I thought, as we do, you know, we love our pets.
Yeah.
So I took it on. The first thing I did was go on YouTube. The thing you see is Crufts, agility. So that's where I started. Got dog doing the tunnel. Thought I was fucking Ivan Balad, you know.
Yeah. So you how long did you do agility for then?
For what, 4 months or something? It wasn't that it was good at it, Chris. Once I mastered the weave pulls, it's just a case of speed.
Yeah.
And there's nothing. The weave pulls in agility, in my opinion, is the hardest thing to train.
Right.
And so once you've done that, it just becomes boring. So then I started researching what a cocker spaniel was actually bred for, which the word cocker comes from, because it was woodcock. You'd use them for hunting woodcock because they would hunt tighter, apparently.
Yep.
So I started searching good dog training. I put a video on a Spring Spaniel page on Facebook, and a lady messaged me. It was a video of Cooper chasing a seagull. Dog was just running wild, no training whatsoever. And she just messaged me saying, please don't take offence, but you've got to stop. And at first I did kind of take offence. I thought, you know, who are you to tell me what to do with my dog? It didn't do anything wrong. But I understood what she was saying, you know, it could have gone wrong fast. So I listened to that, and she put me onto Darren Kirk and sent me loads of training things, just in email, which I was struggling to digest, you know, by reading. So then I started searching it, and somehow from watching, funnily enough, one of Darren Kirk videos, you popped up.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Funny, isn't it, this, Chris? Do you know the first video that popped up?
No.
The one that that bitch up Scotland, not mention names.
Right.
It was her video.
Right.
So saw it. Kind of just thought, you know, one thing led to another. Investigate this a little bit. Then I found other videos, and I remember the first video I ever saw was you with Wiz. Don't know where he was, somewhere down your end, and he did a stop in the middle of a water retrieve.
Right.
You know. So I carried on watching, started from there, basically got hooked. It gave Haley I became addicted to your videos, which gave Haley the freedom to fuck off for 3 years and have some freedom. So yeah, that's how it started.
So you got hooked on watching the videos, did you, and started to train your dog yourself then? And
It was the stop that I wanted first.
Yeah.
And because Cooper, I only got him at 12 months. He was wild as anything. And as you do, as every pet owner does, they just want to play ball with the dog. So as we teach like from puppy to build the drive until we've got what we think is enough that you can put the stop on.
Yeah.
Well, Cooper should have had the stop on probably 8 months. He had that much drive.
Yeah.
But I only got him at 12 months, and then listen to your rule, as we only put the stop on after 12 months. So Cooper had too much drive, which made him hard to control. So then getting the stop on that dog for me was like, oh, I'll never forget it. I still remember the video. It comes up on my memories.
So did you have to use discipline?
Of course.
Of course.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'll be absolutely honest. With Cooper, he was such a headstrong dog that I had to be quite firm with him, And he would, even to this day, he'll still test you.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, what people don't realise is what you have there with Cooper, Kieran, is what I see a lot with people with no understanding at the time. They get themselves a dog. Everybody tells them don't put any pressure on the dog, make it gameplay, and the drive comes up on the dog, and they got no control, and they don't know nothing about discipline. Anybody can discipline a dog, but not everybody wants to discipline a dog because it's your pet, it's your mate, it's your buddy. And the problem is when the dog then takes over, then you have to be firmer on the dog because you've allowed the drive to manifest, become more driven with the dog.
And what I find a lot of the time, Chris, is when the people with no idea do give the dog discipline, the timing's all out,
Spot on.
Spot
on, mate. Yeah.
It's not coming back, and then when it does come back, they get a bollocking.
They punish them when it comes back. Yeah, exactly.
I try and get through to people when this happens. As much as you're pissed off because he's been missing, done a Fenton for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Now he's back. You've got to praise him.
Yeah.
Not discipline him, because now you're disciplining for coming back, and if you continue to do this next time, he's not going to want to come back because he's going to associate coming back with a bollocking.
That's it, exactly. So let's just leave that for a second because that's good. Let's just go back to where you started. So you've got Cocker, then you've got another dog, then you've got another dog, then you've got an Alsatian as well. How many dogs have you got now yourself between you and Haley?
We've got 5.
5. So in a period of how many years did you grab 5 dogs, up to 5 dogs?
So we started with Cooper.
Just roughly.
18 months, we got Sheldon. That was because Haley had seen Bond being Cooper and how well he'd progressed from this wild dog to half obedient.
Good.
He's still a little bastard.
Yeah.
So much we was getting there. Haley got Sheldon for her.
Yeah. So Haley wanted to join in and be in your interest, the same interest as you then.
She did. But what happened was we picked the dog up at the wrong time, so it was autumn time-ish.
Yeah.
She was dead keen at first, and because I'd been addicted to your videos, I'd learned so much. I could, like, the mistakes what I still see to this day with Cooper. I could see the same mistakes she was making with Sheldon.
Yeah.
So I kind of took over.
Yeah.
Then it become winter hit. Haley's, like I said, I took her for a walk over there, Chris. Couldn't wait. I thought, nice romantic walk up Rivington.
Yeah.
Took it, stayed in the van and had a karaoke.
Did she?
And she did. Have a look on my face.
Bloody hell! What? She didn't hold your hand and you both walked up with a whistle? Working the dogs?
She was screaming, "Come back, Jack!"
Yeah.
And I was absolutely soaked.
So she left you in the rain to do all the exercising yourself, and she did the karaoke.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had the same with Sue, you know. I had exactly the same with Sue. I thought I'd get her interested and have my best mate along by the side of me, working a dog and having her own dog. We had to come on the shoot and really enjoy it. As soon as it freaking got wet and cold, Karen, that was it. I can't be freaking bothered. Didn't want to be told. You couldn't tell her. Honestly,
with her is wherever we go, everybody always loves her, and she gets in. You know, we can go. I've been on some shoots where there's a massive divide, and guns don't talk to the beaters. But on them kind of shoots, Haley would get in with the guns. I'm sure they all fancy her.
yeah.
She's worked her way how to get into the mule now with the heat or with the main man. She does no walking. You know, she'll get driven to every drive.
Yeah, and gin and tonics. Yeah, yeah. Slow gin. Yeah.
Well, she never even drinks, Chris.
Well, that's a cheap night out then, isn't it? I thought I saw a video not long ago. She was absolutely off her head with drink.
Chris, so maybe.
Oh, right.
2 years she'll let her in.
Right.
We've come to this agreement now that I'll only go out with her on a night out if we're with her father. That way, when she loses her top, I can say, I'm going home with your dad. You know I'm not with some other bloody chick. And in the morning, you can't shout at me. Because this girl, when she goes, she turns into fish.
To be careful here, because if we've got Squirrel Man listening, and you know what I'm talking about, and she's lost the top, he'll want to come out with you.
Jules is welcome to us.
He's a lovely guy, isn't he, Jules? He's a great dap, isn't he? Eh? He's a star, isn't he? Eh? He's a star. So let's go back to the dogs at the moment then. So you've started
After Sheldon, we got Penny because I took Sheldon off her. Kind of let her do her own thing. Slowly she was picking things up. And I mean, Penny's not perfect. It's still, dogs are clever. They'll work out what they can do with poo. So I can work Penny on the shoot fine, but she runs Haley ragged, you know.
Yeah.
And to the point where Haley will end up putting her on the lead, walking back to the and she's like, I'll beat without the dog.
Yeah.
She's taking the piss.
Yeah.
That's just because I've kind of like let her learn from her mistakes, you know. Penny is Haley's dog. Beating, as soon as she gets her nose down, Haley's not on it enough to, when the dog doesn't turn on that whistle or stop on that whistle, she's not getting out after it. Now, he knows if I'm working her, if she doesn't perk her ass on that whistle, I'm going to be after her consistently every time there will be a correction. Where Haley will just kind of let her get away with it. So, and she's worked her out. So now Haley's worked out that she can get the dog sat steady and picking up is better for her than in the beating line, just because of what she's taught her dog. Honest, you know?
It just shows how quick dogs learn and how clever the dogs are. They soon work out who's the weak point compared to someone.
If my dogs are in kennels, but like occasionally they'll come in the house. Now I won't let them on the couch. Now if I go out and it's Haley, they'll be on that couch, cuddling, right? Now I only have to open the front door.
Yeah, same here.
You can't even see me.
Yeah.
And all I'll hear is footsteps straight off the couch, straight onto the wooden floor.
That's it. Yep.
And you'll see that I'm looking at me thinking, shit, but he's not quite caught me on it.
Yeah, they are so funny, aren't they? They give it away, don't they? But no, don't they? They know they've done wrong.
They're not daft.
No. So you went a good 5-6 years then before deciding to help people with their own dogs. Is that right?
Probably about, well, let me think. Probably 5 years. And do you know what, Chris, being totally honest, when I think back now to when I first started, probably should have been taking money off people, but to be fair, I never charged anybody that we didn't make progress.
Yeah.
And we always make progress. But when I think back to what I know now, compared to what I know now then. And like now I see, I learn something new every single day, or even just by watching somebody walk down the street with the dog on the lead. I can pick something up, you know. The more you work with dogs, the more different breeds, the better you become at kind of reading. Like the video I posted in the Corleone talk, I'll not say it on here. You'll know the one where Ronnie, he kind of ran in for a duck, and I said no.
Yeah.
And the importance of that. And to be honest, even that's a silly mistake on my part. I have permission there, and I know it wouldn't have gone wrong, but I should have restrained the dog for courtesy rather than. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
All we didn't go wrong, and we fixed it. Just a simple lead on the dog would have prevented the whole thing in the first place. And it was a post at James Penrith. Like I said, I learn something new every day, Chris. What I try and do is work with as many breeds as I can.
Yeah. So your ambition then is to work with as many different breeds and different scenarios with dogs, whether people just want to behavior, and you station, you want to do the protection stuff as well. Is that right?
It's protection stuff that I'd like to go into.
Right.
Just when I got that dog, obviously, you're looking to, because I mean, the shepherd is a herding dog, and it's funny how genetics play. Something what I will mention here. So straight away, if you've got a protection dog, you don't want to let it live with your spaniels.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
It just doesn't work. So Ronnie, when if I get the back sleeve out of just Ronnie, the German Shepherd,
Yeah,
Belgian Mal, that dog is solely focused on that sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can have the bite sleeve on, let the spaniels out, and all he'll do is try and herd the spaniels.
Yeah.
It kind of goes back to his
natural ability. Yeah, natural instincts.
His genetics.
Yeah.
And as much as Ronnie, he's a well-trained dog. He's brilliant. I can't fault him. He does everything that I want him to do.
So what trainer put you on to Jamie Penrith and Danny and all them sort of people then you talked about?
Every single person has come from yourself. Yeah, every single one of them. To be fair.
Who's been the most?
Other than Darren Kirk. Darren Kirk was the first person that I heard of. Like I said,
Yeah.
I like Darren. I think he's a lovely chap. I remember the first time I ever went to a scurry, and like I said, my Nike trainers off Council Estate, and he actually
had time for you.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he spoke with me. You know, he probably thought, "Yeah, I'll never see that dickhead again." But afterwards, it was the moment in time. He gave me 10 minutes of his time to have a chat and give me good advice.
Well done to him, yeah.
Put on to him. Like I said, Darren puts out some good stuff.
Yeah.
But there's nobody puts out what you put out in regards to Gundogs. Nobody.
So now I'm going to ask you a question that I already know. Who's the cleverest Gundog? Who's the cleverest dog trainer? Not Gundog trainer. Who's the cleverest trainer who's influenced you the most?
Gary Welch.
Exactly. So how did you learn about Gary? Was that through me as well?
It was, and Gary Wilkes and Larry Crone.
Yeah.
It took me so long to get on their friends.
Yeah.
It's like, my Facebook's full of crap. I ideally want a new one, and the reason I won't make one is because I know it'll take me forever to get back on Larry's friends.
Yeah.
I mean, Gary is that's what I aspire to have the knowledge of.
That takes 40, 50 years. Yeah.
Well, I'll not see that.
An absolute really wise thinking man that passes on that information. And if you wind your neck in, I'm not talking about you, but people like to challenge him. If you wind your neck in and just listen to him and follow him, you learn so much. And yet so many people rub him up the wrong way by going in there thinking they know better than he does. They are dreamers, Kieran, aren't they? He's a wise owl, isn't he?
He is, in my opinion, he is the far superior.
Look at the head on that.
Departments, dog trainer. Fucking hell, do you wanna flake with that?
Yeah, fucking gonna say. What if fucking Sue's just poured me a Guinness? Look at it.
But yeah, Gary was superior to anybody in my opinion. And I love it when people challenge him because he just shuts them down with such satire.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
He recommended a book not long back, The Farmer's Dog.
Yeah.
I'm reading it. How many times I've read it? Early what? 3 times. I've still not finished it, but like I said, I struggle with reading. Me.
Not the only one.
I lose what that. I really, really struggle. Ideally, there's an app, but I'm too tight to pay for it. That I can take a picture of the page and read it out to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, too tight to pay for it. So
only problem is it sounds like some of those latest sex dolls, doesn't it? It don't read out nicely, does it? It's like fucking hang on, that's not really a woman, is it? It's a freaking like it's a program robot.
Yeah. So the book's called The Farmer's Dog. Is it The Farmer's Dog? It's here somewhere. And I'll tell you what, I've profited from that book so much.
Yeah.
Like I said, I've read it where I'm up to probably 3 times just to kind of
soak it in.
Grasp
Yeah.
Understanding. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's quite simple, really. But some of the things you talk about is like how a sheepdog will eye a sheep that it can't see.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I've seen my dogs do it. I watched my friend's beagle the other day. Chad is in our group, but he just keeps himself quiet. He's a gun-dog thing, but he's a genuinely nice lad. And to be fair, not blowing my own trumpet, he's got the best beagle in the country, in my opinion. He's had a little bit of training with me.
Good.
Fantastic dog. You know, I've worked with a few beagles. And
so Karen, let me ask you a question then. So coming into these dogs and now you're into it like you are, has it changed your life completely?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally, 100% turned it around.
Yeah.
Like I said, when I went through the divorce with ex-wife, it was really sour. I had nothing, Chris, and I was a bit of a rummer, if you like, you know.
Yeah.
Up to no good.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, that I'm just speaking off honesty here. You know, I'm not shadowing anything. I'm not proud of it. But one thing, like my mum kicked me out when I was young, so I never had any guidance, if you like.
But the thing is, Karen, the thing is, and I'm not justifying. You could say that people from poor areas don't commit crime or don't get into trouble if they're brought up right. That's a load of bollocks. Sometimes in situations through necessity, people have to do things, and other people might say, on principle, I would never do that. I'd rather go hungry. But it depends on the environment you've been brought up in and how you've seen life.
My opinion is you can guide them all you want. Inevitably, they're going to take their own path.
Yeah.
But if you can, for instance, Tyler, one of our lads, bit of a class clown. But I started hanging around with this particular group of kids.
Yeah.
Now, one of them, he's only 15. Now he's in a young offenders institute. And, and like,
yeah.
So as he got older, and he's realised, you know, I always said that I'd have been you if he carried on. You know, and he's not the best behaved kid. He's a little cheeky bugger.
But if society worked it out, Kieran, that we used to have youth clubs and all this sort of stuff. Because of cutbacks, they closed all that down. Kids hanging around on streets in rough areas. You hang around with the wrong people. You get into the wrong group, and you become that way inclined. And it's very difficult to get out of that sometimes, isn't it? But you imagine there was somebody out there like ourselves who could take a young kid, give them a dog, teach them how to train a dog, teach them the importance of the relationship between the dog and them, the importance of being able to look after that dog. It can change the mindset completely, can't it? Because you can take them down a different track, a different road mentally. You can give them something to want to get up for every day.
So I'm pretty. Haley's really like she's a brilliant. You know what? She's the best mum in the world. She is.
Lovely.
Hands down. But she's a little bit of a softer. If I wasn't here, you know, people would probably, like I said, Tyler would probably be in jail because mum's too soft on him. where I've always given him that little bit of guidance. So when we did have a litter with Sheldon and Penny, it went wrong. One pup survived. Now we was going to keep that pup. The kids was meant to be. It was meant to be Tyler's dog. I said to him, "It's a big commitment. Are you sure you're up for it? Because if you're not, I'll get rid of it." For the first couple of days, Chris,
loved it.
He did it. But then it become an inconvenience. He wanted to go out with his mates. He didn't want to clean the poop. I'm like, has your dog been fed? Because I purposely didn't. I'm like, you've got to learn here. If you want this dog to be yours, lad, responsibility.
Yeah.
So what happened was, on Friday, not bothered with it for since Tuesday. I've had to step in, take over. So I ended up giving the dog to my brother. My brother has Charlie, his dog, was a bit of a companion.
Yeah.
And he didn't even realise till the Sunday night. The dog went on Friday. He didn't realise till Sunday, and he was heartbroken.
So it's a lesson, isn't it? It's a lesson.
It was a tough lesson.
Sometimes in life you need those tough lessons, don't you?
Yeah. Like another example, we walked into this place one time. I was in front, and I don't miss a trick. And all of a sudden, there's toys everywhere. There's all kinds of sales. Bit of like it was like an antiques fair, but there was a bit of everything. All these stalls. All of a sudden, Tyler pulls out 20 quid, says he's found it on the floor. I'm like, bullshit, because I've just walked here, and there's no way I'd have walked past that.
No.
He's like, I've just found it. I found it, and I could see in his face, you're telling me fibs here, son.
Yeah.
So I just said, right, I'll give it to you like this. You've got one opportunity. If you tell me where you really got it from, you can keep the 20 quid. But if you lie, or even think you're lying, I'm going to take it. And he just went, when I went to my dad's on Saturday, I took it off his drawer. I went, you know what, lad, no problem. Keep the 20 quid. Do not ever do that again. And I'll be telling your dad that you've pinched 20 quid off his drawer. But you can keep the 20 quid for your honesty. And they will not lie to me. That, they don't hide things from me. And that's the kind of relationship I want with my children, to be honest.
And the thing is, Kieran, you're setting ground rules, aren't you? You're setting ground rules by educating them and enlightening them rather than punishing them, because at the end of the day, a punishment can be right, you're not having it, but you don't need to use violence like some people would, because they're not educated enough. And yet, like you say, you come from the background that you struggle with reading and that, and yet it's common sense, isn't it? You've taught him a lesson by addressing it in a different way than some people would have addressed it, but he learned from it.
When I was a kid, if I stepped out of line, I'm telling you now, I got a beating.
Exactly.
A beating.
Exactly.
It's social to take your kids away for that if you did that.
Yeah.
But you know what my violence is now? I only have to do one thing. I'll ask twice nicely, and if not, I have this. There's a box under the stairs, right? It's got this little switch. It's fucking fantastic. Chris.
Takes electric off.
I only have to hit the downstairs socket to turn the internet box off.
That's it, yeah.
Oh my God, the people come from rooms I didn't even know.
You got to outthink them, don't you? Outthink them, outsmart them.
It works better.
Yeah.
So you what gets results.
Yeah. And that's exactly the same with the dogs, isn't it, Kieran? We can use discipline. We know when to use discipline, but we can use persuasion. We can use gameplay. We can change the mindset in so many different ways. But without the discipline and the knowledge, going back to an article you shared of Gary Wilkes, Gary was talking about an aggressive dog that rehomed it is just passing on the problem, and the way he wrote it was so simple for people to understand. It wasn't complicated, but it was in such a basic format that if you think that you're going to change that behavior of that dog that's enjoyed the bite, and you're going to adjust it and then pass it on to someone else, you could be just passing on a problem to someone else if it's not everything is trainable. And talking about mental problems, mental issues, and it doesn't matter how good you are as a dog trainer. If you can read that situation, you are never going to pass on a dog that's been and savaged someone, and you think you're clever enough to go, I'm going to adjust this dog's behavior. Now, there's certain situations you can adjust it, but it's amazing how many people think they can fix everything.
You as the trainer in that moment.
Yeah.
But the second you hand that over, unless it's you or that person as rehabilitated, if you like, in the same manner, and show that same I'm the alpha, not you.
Yeah.
Then so going on to another subject, Chris. So we're having an extension built in at the minute. The council have asked us to reown the dogs temporarily.
Yeah.
There's 2 people I've asked, so all the other ones, not a problem. The German Shepherd, I've had a million offers.
Yeah.
You know, I don't take it in. What I've said is, if the dog was to go,
yeah,
he's going full time, because the work that I've put into it, I don't want somebody to undo.
Yeah.
And it's got to be the right suitable home with somebody who's educated with that breed, in that department. So I've got a friend with a farm, and also a friend who's the gamekeeper.
Yeah.
They were the only 2 homes that I'd said, like, I'd be happy to let him go there. I know they've got the knowledge behind them. They've worked with that breed, and I know they'd be fine. And there's no kids.
Yeah.
So, like, Haley's been panicking because we haven't found anyone. You know, and she's like, "Well, are we going to put it in kennels?" And I'm like, "Nope, I'm not putting it in kennels, because." Like I said, I can't be asked with all the work that I've put in being undone. You know, I don't know how long it's going to be. So what we've decided so far is I'm camping with them dogs for like 60 weeks. It starts in April.
Yeah, you're going to be with them. Yep.
There's no way I would put it on. And the amount of people said, like, I can have him. I'm like, look, mate, you can't. You can't have him. This dog's, you don't understand. He's trained to bite, you know. And as much as, to be absolutely, totally honest, Chris, that protection dog, what you see, I only show you the bits I want you to see. And that's just to scare the fucking bagheads around here from pinching stuff out my garden.
Yeah.
I've had 3 kids' bites going missing. He would never make the grade.
Yeah. Yeah.
He really wouldn't. Done little things with him, you know, as you see, when you get him on the sleeve, you'll, like, have you seen the bamboo stick? What's kind of like,
yeah.
The middle and
yeah.
Well, I'll be honest, a box of tent pegs, you know, rattling like a nail in a tub. It's something I can't get past, but you shake a box of nails while that dog by shits himself for some reason. He quits. I don't know what it is. I've not hit him with it, and he's never heard it before. Just for some reason, he doesn't like that. But he would never make the grade. He is. He's, for example, if you was to send him on a criminal,
yeah,
I think he would go to the person, because he's only ever been trained on a sleeve. He would look for the sleeve. If the sleeve wasn't there, he'd be like,
yeah,
it's like sending a gun dog for a dummy that's not there.
Yeah. And do you think that's genetic, or do you think that's you've made mistakes during the training?
Well, it's 100% the mistakes I've made in the training, because he's only ever been trained to bite a sleeve. You know, if you look at like the likes of Danny Wells' dogs were, you know, he's got the full suits where they onto the leg, and he's practiced and practiced and practiced. I don't practice all that much with that, you know. As long as the dog stops when I whistle, blow the stop, comes back when I ask him to, and heals, anything else is a bonus, to be fair.
Right.
The only reason I got him is, like I said, it's a rough area. So many things have been pinched. I mean, funny story, Chris, I'll be totally honest. I get to knock at the door the other day. There's like all these fake plants on some smackhead. They're like 20 quid. I'm like, nope, I'll give you $5. They were absolutely mint. Pulled them out in garden. The cheeky bastards only come back and pinched them. I've got cameras. You know, this person I've bought them off's come back. It's that bad. But I'll tell you what, nobody will step in the backyard.
Yeah. When we were kids, Kieran, youngsters, about 16, My mate used to own a Chinese restaurant, Chinese lad, and he was well into cameras and everything. And then video cameras used to be about £1,000, and that was a lot of money. Like, we were in that rough area, we couldn't afford £1,000. And these pikeys turned up one day, and they pulled up outside the shop and said, "Do you want to buy a C camera?" And he said, "Not really." He said, "Well, I'll sell it to you cheap." He said. So he looks in this carrier bag, and there's this cine camera, and he gets it out and he shows it him, and he puts it on and it's working. He films something on it and it's working. He said, "How much do you want for it?" And I forget now. It was that long ago. It was years and years ago. And I think it was like 50 quid or something like that compared. And they were about £1,000 at the time. And I know it was like classed as knocked off, but we come from an area where everybody dealt with knocked off stuff. So it wasn't like, oh, morals, you shouldn't be buying from these people. So he's given 50 quid. He goes out as he's going out the door. That was it. He was going out the door, and he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll take 40 quid," because he said no at first for 50 quid. There's a lot of money in them days. And he said, "I'll take 40 quid." And he said, "No." My mate said no. So he went back out the door. So my mate went back to the car, called him across. He come back in with a smile on his face with a carrier bag and said, "I got it for 40 quid." He said, "I'm over the freaking moon." He said, 40 quid. He said, £1,000 freaking cine camera. So I said, right. So he turned his back for 2 seconds, looked into the carrier bag, then swapped it for a brick.
Yeah. You're going back to backgrounds, Chris. So, like, my dad, he was a travel bit. So Tyson Fury,
yeah,
Fury family, they've got a caravan park in Rixton. It's called, bloody hell, I forgot the name. I used to live there. God, what's it called? It's going to drive me daft. But anyway, so my dad lived on there for a while. Again, that was a rough place to, growing up on some of the stuff we saw.
Yeah.
And I mean, lovely people. I remember one time it was this particular family come on. Absolutely loads of them. They had all the best gear. They only stopped for a weekend.
Yeah.
They were friendly as anything, going round to each caravan, saying hello, introducing themselves. And when they'd left and everyone went to go to work on a Monday morning, they'd stole all the cats off everybody's cars in the night and fired off.
Robbed a lot of them. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely every single one on the caravan site.
Yeah. It's amazing. I don't think people realise, Karen, living in a rough area, there's some real genuine, honest people, decent people who look after your back and all that sort of stuff. But there's some freaking rogues as well. And the problem is, it depends who you hang around with and how desperate you become and all that sort of stuff, in it, in a way. But
well, for me, what I figured out, Chris, is, as you say, you have your people in your circle. Now, me, I don't have a circle. I have a straight line.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no circle. There's me and Ailey.
So let's go in a different direction now. Let's just say the people that you've been introduced to through me and through the group, through Corleone Talk, through following my videos and people commenting in live feeds, you've met some wonderful, diverse people from all different backgrounds.
Absolutely amazing people from all over, not just backgrounds, from all over the world.
Yeah.
And do you know what? Every single one of us kind of welcomed me with, even though I've never personally spoke to Larry Crone, like he's never judged, he's accepted me, he's commented on posts, he's always given me the time of day.
Yeah.
Same with James Penrith. Everybody, the only decent trainers that I have met have been through you. And to be quite fair, before you, if you think, and we'll get people to type in the comments, I'm not going to say the name, but as the most famous dog trainer, does everybody think of, not Gundogs, just if you think, if we wasn't in this group and you was asked to ask the general public, what would they say? And let's see what they comment, and let's see if it's who I'm going to say.
Right, so everyone got that message. Just type in who you think is the most Kieran, most famous, or the most watched, or watched. They watch, or
if you was to ask the general public,
yeah,
to name the most famous dog trainer in the world, who would they say?
If they come back with Zach George, Kieran, I'm freaking switching off.
So am I. And they'll all be being blocked.
Yeah, they'll all be blocked, won't they? Sue was just about to write it. Zach George.
The only one.
Victoria Stilwell. Oh no, it's getting worse, Kieran. Wait, no, they haven't wrote that.
Who's put that?
No, they haven't yet. They haven't. I'm waiting for it. No one's got the ball to write anything at the moment.
You're all thinking, aren't you?
They're all Googling it.
Shit, innit?
What was the most famous?
Barbara Woodhouse. Woo! That's his face.
The most famous.
Well, it's the way Karen's asked the question. That's what I said. It's the way you put the question across. You've got to make your mind up what he's asking you, because he said
there's no wrong answer, because everybody's going to have a different thing. But for me,
the dog daddy, the dog, no more, the dog daddy. Fucking hell.
Are we going for just genuine dog training?
Season Milan, Barbara Woodhouse.
Barbara Woodhouse is correct.
There you go.
Season Milan. Everybody thinks Season Milan.
Yeah.
That's where I was going with it, going into the excitement of getting this name. What was I going to say? What was we on then, Chris?
Well, you said the most famous, most watched Gundog person, dog trainer. You said not Gundog trainer, dog trainer. Yeah, and they've.
He's Milan. He's the most, maybe fair. He's the most publicised, if you like. That's a better word, isn't it? Publicised. He's been on the telly, and it's like Victoria Stilwell. She's had a lot of publicity. And anybody that knows proper dog training can see right through the bullshit.
Oh, she's full of it. Yeah.
But as for Season Milan, I mean, he does show some of it. I had a bit of a debate with a friend the other day, because I said some of the stuff what that man does, you're not seeing on camera. And he was saying, well, you would, because he's showing it, and I'm like, he's not showing everything, because if he did, the world would freak out. You know, they'd have him on a cross.
I think Karen, he used to show everything, and then he realised he got a lot of backlash from it, and he changed his direction. And I don't blame him, but unfortunately, he went down the road of publicising the e-collar, and he didn't give enough education with it. Yeah, he just used the e-collar, and people went after him for that then, see? And that was all introduced by Martin Dealey, who used to do the championship commentary. And Martin Dealey was a dog trainer, been around for a long, long time. Ian Openshaw competition, Gundog side of it. He hung around with a number of people in the echelons of Gundog training, and then went across to America and became like a god in their eyes. And unfortunately, everybody really knew he was a lecturer. He had the gift of the gab, but I wouldn't say that I would put him anywhere in the top 20 dog trainers that I know. But at the end of the day, he got hold of Caesar Milan, took Caesar Milan down a different road. And not in.
I would struggle to name 20 top dog trainers that I would say, yeah, follow this guy. I would struggle to name.
Yeah, but when I say 20 dog trainers, not all of them are out there on the internet having to teach. Some of them running in competition, and they're very, very good at what they do. And they may have put up a video in the past, over years ago, but it doesn't mean that they're out there all the time. I put people onto dog trainers that I recommend from all aspects of dog training. So I haven't just stuck to just gun dog trainers. I've put people onto, like Larry Crow with his e-collar book, and I know how much that book meant to you. It's in such a simple format for anybody to understand. Follow these instructions and you're not going to ruin your dog. And it's like, I've put people onto so many different trainers from different backgrounds.
I'll be honest, Chris, with concerning the e-collar.
Yeah,
you've done videos on it in the past.
Mm.
Nobody should be using or think. If you're thinking of an e-collar as a solution, for me, I don't ever need an e-collar. it's always a last resort unless it's I want to stop a behaviour, full stop. But like, there's nothing any colour can't do that I can't do with a leash. But as for anybody thinking of buying it, everybody thinks it's this quick fix. They're going to tap the button. What Larry's book does is, and I mean, if you're going to use an e-collar, I say read Larry's book and then read it again and then read it again. It really is layman's terms on how to not fuck your dog up. And I have had a few dogs what have had bad e-collar training.
But the thing is, if you follow other trainers that Larry's actually paid a lot of money to go and learn how to train Kieran with them under their school of teaching, and then you have to turn that down. You have to turn that down. I'm getting feedback now off the speaker. That's all.
One sec. Let me see if is that better.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is, Ivan slagged Larry's book off and Larry's way of training with the e-collar. I totally disagree. That book that Larry made is absolutely fine for Joe Public to not mess their dog up and learn from.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree. That book. So I first heard of e-collar. I'll be honest, Chris. Remember the video you made? People laugh here. This is gullible. People are gullible. Remember the video you made of the magic collar? Watch this.
Yeah.
I press left. The dog goes left.
That's it.
Oh, you had me on that, you know.
I had thousands. I had thousands of requests. Please tell me that.
I'm thinking, nah, you trained it to do one thing. I was trying to unravel the madness of it, but I'm like, has he actually done it? You know, and I mean, people are so gullible. Larry's book is fantastic for getting it right, and like so many people put it on as a fast fuck the dogs up. They don't. I mean, you can't punish a behaviour. If you requested a behaviour from your dog, you can't punish it unless the dog knows that behaviour. You've got to teach it first, and so many people are using it as a fast fix when the behaviour's not even been instilled. The behaviour that they're hoping for on the outcome of the click of the collar has not even been taught in the first place.
But the thing is, Kieran, I think that debate is really important, right? And you can disagree with a trainer and you can agree with a trainer, but you should have every right to give your opinion. That doesn't mean you want to fall out with a trainer. Now, I know the standard of Ivan's training, but the average person wouldn't grasp what Ivan does. Now, Ivan would have to break it down, and he's got that school that you can go there and pay $10,000 to go and freaking train Ivan's way. And Larry paid that, didn't he? Or his missus paid it for him to go and certify and learn. And Larry didn't do the full package, but Larry went out of his way, even with the knowledge he had, to go and learn more. Now, when Larry came back from Ivan, he changed his training a little bit, but kept saying, I can't tell you I can't show you, tell you, or educate you with what he showed me. I totally disagree there, because he's paid for his knowledge. And if Ivan's knowledge was better than Larry's, and Larry's knowledge was not working, then Larry had every right to say, listen, I've followed Ivan, and Ivan is dead right. Don't do what I was doing here. Do this because this works. But Larry's attitude was, and I'm not throwing Larry under the bus in any way. I'm talking publicly, and I speak to him personally about it in public, and I'm not throwing him under the bus in public. If you come to me for training and I teach you something, I haven't got franchise whether you can go and freaking teach somebody what I've taught you. But that in my eyes, that's unacceptable. If you pay me for my knowledge and I teach you, you have every right to go out and show somebody else and help somebody else with their dog.
100%. And do you know what? That's the issue with the dog world. Everybody is out. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the video. I've not really watched it all. Somebody sent it me, but there's that much shit on the internet. I just try and I watch what I want to watch, you know, and I kind of just ignore a lot of the shit.
Yeah.
But it was a video. I think it's Southend dog training. Some woman's, she's calling him out. And to be fair, I've followed that guy. I don't follow him religiously. I watch everything, but I've listened to some of the things he said. I think he makes up quite a few good points, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
And this woman, some of the group might have seen it. Somebody will have seen it. I don't even remember the woman's name. But she's just trying to ruin him. And what, instead of trying to ruin other trainers who take a different approach, what we should be doing is all saying, this is how I'd do it. That's how I'd do it. And what might work for that dog may not work for that dog, so maybe your approach should be a better approach, and vice versa. You know, it should be having it. Don't matter what side of the fence you're on, whether you're positive or you're negative. But at the end of the day, we should all be in it for the one thing, and it's to have better dogs. You know. I'm not in it for friends.
So let's look at it this way then, Kieran. I don't like personally, publicly condemning a trainer's video. Right, whether you're a professional or whether you're an amateur, I don't like personally doing it in public. But in my group, I take videos off the internet from trainers that are selling themselves and taking money off people, and I share those videos in our group, and I critique them and show people where they're going wrong. That's my opinion, and I'm entitled to my opinion. But it's in a private group. It's not them under the bus in public and having a bitch fight in public, because I don't like that when I see that with trainers. One trainer throwing another trainer under the bus and saying, you shouldn't be training, that's dangerous. Now, I agree with a lot of what Ivan was saying, what Larry wasn't grasping at the time. But when Larry went there, he changed his training slightly, and he wasn't doing the same training as he was doing before he went to Ivan. But he wasn't willing to show what Ivan had taught. And I understand what a nice bloke he is, because in his opinion, he said, I don't want to take money away from that bloke. That bloke has given me that knowledge and I've paid for it and I'm going to learn from it and use it. But I don't want to start teaching his way. I disagree, because like Steve Page says here, it's like buying a pup and they want to put control on the breeding. It's a load of bollocks. You buy the pup, it's your pup. What you do with it is up to you. They haven't got a right, once you've purchased it, to put in, like, you're not allowed to sell it or you're not allowed to breed off it unless
well, if that was the case, then the likes of me and anyone in our group.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
That exactly.
Think of the dogs. What? I mean, come on, guys. Think if we hadn't have found Chris, what our dogs would be like.
Exactly.
Rescue to rescue to rescue. And just to mention Gary Wilkes again, my favourite post that he's ever wrote was on about rescues.
Yeah.
And he said, you walk down the line kennels and you see the dog that you like the look, because that's what everybody does. They don't do any research. We just decide we want a dog. Let's go and rescue one rather than get a puppy. Oh, what a shame. It's had a bad life. We'll get one. And on the side it says, toilet trained, non-aggressive, great with kids. And Gary's saying what that means is it's toilet trained, perfectly poop on your kitchen floor every time.
Yeah.
You know, if the dog was so good, why would it be there?
Yeah. There is so many underlying problems with these dogs in these rescue centres, and people go in with an open heart and they say, I want to give this dog a completely different life. And sometimes you're lucky, but the amount of dogs that are on the rebound, Kieran, because they have them a few weeks, they go, I just can't cope with it, I'll bring the dog back. And I think it's sad, really, because I have got no problem at all with anybody that I put out videos there, learning from them, and then using my skill set that I've learned from over the years and passing it on to other people. The thousands and thousands of dogs we've helped by doing that, not in the group, and how many of them people in the group now are out there training other people as well. It's like a pyramid sale. It escalates. And without,
Without that, the trade will die.
yeah, and if you put your head above the parapet, you've got to be prepared to shot at, but you're also giving that information out, help people understand how to train a dog. And if they can go on and pass it on to other people and save them messing their dog up, that means everything to me, Kieran. Everything.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, and I mean, just people in our group with the knowledge what. Well, I'm going to name names. I'll give you two straight off the bat. Chris Val, Gary Marriott. Them two can train a dog just as good as you, Chris.
Yeah, that's it. That's the whole point.
I'm not going to say probably better. I don't want to insult you, but you know, I've seen.
Yeah, that's it.
Chris Val, he doesn't. I know Gary's good at with the talking, and he comes across very well. And Christopher does put him in the group and explains and talks through. Or like I said, Christopher, top. I think he's a top. You know, he's got the knowledge as good as you. You could train a gun dog, to as good a standard as you could. You really could.
Okay, so let's ask the question then. Have they won anything in competition?
As Chris,
have they?
I'm not sure, to be honest, so I can't give an opinion on that.
So how do you know you can train a dog better than me then, Kieran?
That's a good point, that Chris.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, what I'm saying is, I think they're understanding the videos that I've seen. You know, for what they want of the dog, how they're going about doing it, teaching it, learning it. We've all got it from you, and like, I mean. What you've got on us all experience. What about
Steve Pace?
Steve Pace is another.
So I've named one person. You've named two. Who are the accredited trainers in our group?
Couldn't even name them. I would imagine Gary Marriott, Chris Duval, Steve Pace.
Yeah.
God.
And you don't get that accreditation unless you've done your own work, you've proved you can train dogs, and you've got to actually show it. You can't just talk about it, you've got to do it. Yeah. Now I believe you don't need to have won with a dog to become automatically a good gun dog trainer, but I think that it's another bow to your string to
absolutely.
Right, so I think if you've won with a number of dogs and you've got that on top of your resume, as well as train thousands of people, and everybody's got to put their foot on the ladder somewhere when they start to teach. But I am confident in the trainers that I are accredited in our group. You don't get accreditation easy in our group. You've got to put up the work. You've got to have done the studying. You've got to have done your apprenticeship of putting the time in. You've got to have put the videos showing your own dogs. And at the end of the day, we've got 5 out of 200 people. It would be lovely if we had 20, but we've got 5 people, or is it 6? I have to look back on the thing. And the thing is as well, have you got the facilities to take in dogs? Have you got the facilities just to teach people? All these things come into. Have you got the experience behind you of 10, 15, 20 years, 30 years? Because like you said, you're always learning every day something else. And that's
the more I do, the more I realise, the less I know, if you understand me.
But what you said, Kieran, did not offend me in the slightest when you said they're as good as you, if not better than you. It did not offend me in the slightest.
I didn't want to. I wasn't trying to.
What I'm saying is they can train a dog as good as me. That's coming from my mouth, right? That's what I'm saying to you. They can train a dog as good as me, and they've proved it. That's why they are accredited trainers. Anybody can get a certificate. Anybody can get a rosette. Anybody who wants to keep paying every week can eventually get themselves the rosettes of you can class yourself now as a dog trainer. And that's the problem with we call KC accredited dog trainers. It doesn't mean nothing because they've let the standard go so low, because it's all to do with the money. It's all to do with how much money they can bring in. and it's all to do with church hall trainers. And these church hall trainers,
Winning hearts.
eh?
Winning hearts.
Winning hearts and minds, yeah.
All for money.
Mm. And unfortunately, you can't just join the group and become a dog trainer overnight. You can't. It's impossible.
You can't become a dog trainer over 12 months of studying every day. I don't give a crap. You can't. It's the hands-on experience. And one thing what I will say, I think, Chris, one thing what I have, I'm not saying I'm not the best trainer in the group. I'm nowhere near. I do know a good bit, but one thing I have had experience with is lots of different breeds and plenty of experience. You know.
Do you not think though? You become a master craftsman, or you can become a jack of all trades. And if you go down the road of, I want a bit of protection, I want a bit of obedience, I want a bit of agility, I want a bit of ring craft, I want a bit of gun dog, sometimes you can miss out and be average at lots of things, not brilliant at one thing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with you there.
Because over the years I've seen that a lot, Kieran. Steve Pace says, and if we can't do or have an issue, I know that we can get in touch with Chris or each other and resolve the issue. That is so important. The group, they've got the backing, they've got that emergency blanket that if they need that help, they can reach out and ask the question. And that is so important, because your egos is easy to, I know everything, I don't need to ask anything. But that's what I'm here for as a trainer, with years and years of experience over those people and thousands of dogs. I specialize in gun dogs. I've stuck to gun dogs because I'm lucky enough to be good at what I do and be able to say, I only want to train gun dogs. I'm not saying that makes me a better trainer than somebody who trains a lot of different breeds. I think the person who diversifies, but how long is it going to take you to master a wider range of training?
What you're saying, I absolutely, and well, you all your life, like I said, I'm forever learning. I posted a video the other day in the group, Haley's Labrador, and even then, just little pointers, what people, my work's perfect. There's a lot of things that can be sharpened up. It's only down to me being a little bit lazy, kind of, I've got my dogs trained to a standard, and then things have got sometimes a little bit sloppy, train other people, as well. I have the 5 children, so like, all right, Chris, it's non-stop, I have a lot on my plate. I try not to take on too much, but like I said, even knowing what I do and I still teach people, I'm still learning things myself, and people in our group point out things what maybe I wouldn't have even acknowledged until it's pointed out with me.
Yeah, and I think that's a real good point, because I think what you've achieved, Kieran, in the period that you've been training dogs, is very, very good. I think it's taking you in a different direction. It's your purpose.
Changed my life.
But I've got to be honest, when I watch some of your videos that you put up, I can pick little things about that you would have not been doing those things if you'd concentrated solely on gun dogs. But everybody's got to go down the road in life that they want to go down, and you've tried to go down the protection side or the
it's not so much the protection for me, Chris. It's like you're known as the specialist gun dog trainer. Here where I am, I haven't won anything in competition, and like the trialing world, the competition world tends to be people with a lot of money.
No, I disagree, Karen. I disagree.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. But like in my area, the people that are around me and seem to get in contact, it's more pets than gun dogs.
There's thousands more pet people out there. There's more business if you can diversify without fail. I'd earn far much more money and make a bigger name for myself if I diversified, Kieran, and because I could train pets in my sleep, but I don't want those people haven't got the commitment. And those people who haven't got the commitment, then you're wasting your freaking time with, because you
I said this the other week. The people that want good dogs have good dogs.
Yeah.
I have so many. What, you know, every time anybody does a lesson, you'll get homework. Even if you don't reboot to another lesson, that's absolutely fine. But your homework, you'll get a message in a couple of days.
Yeah.
How's it going? Give me a video. And the ones that have got good dogs, I've got the videos to prove it. I can show them. You know, the ones that haven't got good dogs are just, you know, they think that training's the hour that I come, that's that. They think I can whisper in the dog's ear. You can show them and show them all you like, but they just don't take it in. You know, everything you say goes out the window. Well said the thing earlier about the amount of people that he'll do a heel work class with, and then he'll say, right, this is over, and then the dogs start pulling.
Yeah.
And then he'll say, I've tricked you all. It's not really over, but Luke, you let it. The second we've stopped training,
yeah,
you've already, your mindset's gone.
But just imagine, Kieran, that I had a following massive on YouTube when my videos were for free, right? Massive following from all over the world, right? When I've gone over to Patreon and I've got a group, we've got roughly 250 people in the group, right? And I would say 40 of those people are active on a regular weekly basis, some of them on a daily basis. Now, I can't tell you how the other people who don't interact with us have improved if they're not putting up videos, but they're still with me. I can tell you they're still with me because I know they're paying me every month. So they must like the group, and they must like watching everybody else, seeing how.
I can't see comments tonight. How many people's in the house does it say?
Not many. 18. They're
18.
They're all.
There's probably only 10 that have commented, but the 8 in the background who just, you know. Don't ever say anything. They don't ever post anything.
But the point what I was getting to, Kieran, is an important point. Those people who interact on a regular basis and they're still in the group, right? They're still in there talking and listening, and we've gone well over an hour, and we normally just cut out after an hour. What I'm saying is they're the ones that are gaining that wisdom, that knowledge, because they're interacting, they're putting up videos, they're having them critiqued, they're picking up the fine detail. And the finer detail is what people miss out if they reach a certain standard and then start helping people and not carrying on learning. Because what happens is you reach a certain standard, you think, well, I know most of it. I don't say I know all of it, but I can train dogs. I can get out there and make some money. But the people who have really moved forward in the group are the people who contact and talk on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Without that input, you're losing out. But that's down to each individual. I'm not forcing anyone to say you've got to interact more if you want to learn more. But every trainer that has made accredited status in our group have interacted in a big way with the whole group. That way, they show me so much. When I start seeing they're not making mistakes and they're writing comments about other people's videos and the comments are the right comments, it tells me no different than me reading what Gary Wilkes writes. Every time I read what Gary Wilkes writes, 99.9% of it, I go spot on. For one reason, I've got a deep understanding myself, but I know I can see the knowledge and wisdom that he's got. And the difference is how far do you want to go in this world as a gun dog trainer? It's a shame out there's not other gun dog trainers doing the same thing as I'm doing. In some ways, I'm pleased because I could be out of business. I might not be earning the money. But at the end of the day, anybody can put up a 5-minute video and not really explain what they're doing. It doesn't give people insight. It doesn't give people in-depth knowledge. Well, the way we break down the videos in Patreon, and we don't do it on YouTube, we do it in Patreon, we break it down so people understand where people are going wrong and what they're doing wrong. And that slight movement, that slight timing. And you shouldn't be saying to the dog, stay 3 times. And when someone sends a video across, they've told the dog to stay 3 times, I can't really endorse them as a trainer for our group, as an accredited trainer. But that doesn't mean that.
Another thing I'll say, Chris, is like, just as growing up, always fluctuating in school, never was there. It's almost like I'm not diagnosed or anything or blaming this on, but like I'm very ADHD. I'm very fast. I'm 100 miles an hour with everything. Like just slight movements what I make. You know, the dogs pick up on these little things.
Yeah.
And the dogs morph into humans. Well, yeah, in some cases they do. And on the Dog Scholar, that's actually Danny Wells goes actually deeply into that. And I do see that a lot. The mistakes I make, I can only see afterwards, you know. And sometimes I can see it as I'm doing it, and I know I'm doing it wrong. It's just, it becomes a habit, like, you know.
The difference is, Kieran, is Danny is a specialist in the area that he's teaching, but he can still train a gun dog. But I wouldn't say he could train a gun dog as good as me with in-depth detail, but I wouldn't stand a chance in protection dogs that Danny's got because of the knowledge he's got. It's the wisdom that he is. It's the passion that you get. And if you get the passion for something, it's the same as saying, well, I can play golf because I've played it for the last 25 years and I'm not a bad golfer. That doesn't mean you can play badminton.
Yeah.
It's still a freaking sport. It's still using balance, timing and everything, but I've specialized on purpose, and I've been dead lucky that I've been able to all my life concentrate on something I'm passionate about. But that fine detail only comes with age. But what other people have got over me is they've got youth, where I've got wisdom. And as you get older, you start losing the quick reaction that you had in your youth. And so when I used to look at trainers, when I was winning in competition, I was looking at trainers who were like the film stars of their day, who were 60, 70 years of age. I used to look at them and think, you're fucking useless. But what I didn't understand at the time, Kieran, age catches up with all of us. And your timing's not as good. And your thinking's not as quick. And so you'll start to deteriorate in some ways, but your wisdom and knowledge is better because the more you study, the more you learn. It's never, like you've said, it's never ended, the learning chain of gaining more and more experience. And I think,
especially with dogs, like, I mean, with bricklaying, there's only so much you can learn. Your experience will come and you'll do different bonds and whatnot. But with dogs, because dogs change, breedings change. Sometime in probably my lifetime, there'll be a new breed that becomes KC registered that somebody's bred for whatever reason, and then everything will change. So for dog trainers, it's a never-ending cycle of constantly learning. You will never ever stop.
I think that if you come to sort of pet training, I think styles change, times change with styles, and over the years it used to be all about obedience and suppression. These days it's all about gameplay and not destroying drive. But why do you need drive on a pet dog in a freaking house when you're not going to you're just creating an athlete? And at the end of the day, if you've got the insight into gun dog training, you could go over to pet dog training in your sleep. I guarantee it, right? I've done it, right? It's I personally find the most boring freaking thing out there. But that's my opinion. It was just me. And the reason is I've worked for the council. I've worked for problem dogs that people will get reported by neighbours about in council houses, and they say, listen, you either get rid of the dog or you lose your freaking house. And I have to go around there and I have to give them not a lecture, but I have to educate them. And do you know what? They don't even want you there, Kieran, because they haven't got that even desire to want to get their dog right. They just don't want you there because you've intruded, because the council threaten them they're going to lose their house if they don't sort the dog out. And so you're wasting your time with them people. And we've got it in our group. We've had some of the trainers go down the road of helping people with just pet dogs, some of them gun dogs, but pet dogs. and they just haven't got the willpower to put the work in. Where I'm lucky, the majority of people come on to me, stay with me, follow me for years, and pick up that knowledge and that understanding. But what I want to do, Kieran, it's 1 hour and 19 minutes. We've gone over by 19 minutes, and we don't do this very often, right? But I want to say this to you. You came on here saying you were, I think personally, I think you've been one of the best people on here to have an open chat with, and I want to thank you for that. And
I've enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.
And you've got some
to the group. Thank everybody for, like I said, not judging. You know,
I think
accepting.
I think you've been open. I think you've been open. I think honest. I think you've said it the way you see it. You've got people on here.
Here's a spade in me, Chris. I don't beat around the bush, and I don't talk shit.
Yeah.
I'll not take shit off anyone, and I'll say it the way it is. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to learn about dogs.
You're not here to make friends. What about Chadwick? What about Alan Chadwick, who I introduced you to?
Alan Chadwick. Wow. Don't get me started on that guy. We'll go for another hour. That man, honest to God, I don't even know where to start with that man. You know, he even rung me the other day. Said season's finished. I've got some pigeon shooting up in Wales. Fancy it?
Lovely, isn't he?
Fucking. Oh.
I tell you what, Kieran.
I could ring Alan Chadwick now and say, Alan.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit stuck here.
Yeah.
Couldn't lend me £1,000, could you?
Yeah.
And I've not spoken to him for weeks.
Yeah.
He'd go, oh bloody hell! I didn't think he put that on me, but yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
And he won. I could probably ask him for £10,000. Or if I rang him and said, Alan, I'm stuck in middle of Leicester, couldn't pick me up, would you? I'm stuck.
Yeah.
Alan would get up at 3 in the morning, and he would, and I'd do the same for him.
That guy, Alan, came into my life when I was getting shit years and years and years ago, and he stuck up for me like crazy, and it was like having someone watching your back. And I got to say this, you know, it's been Mother's Day and Father's Day, and you're lucky if you love your mother and father, or they love you. I've been in that situation for 15 years, unfortunately. But I tell you what, if Alan was my dad, I'd be freaking proud, because he's a genuine geezer and such a nice bloke as well. And like I said to you, Kieran, I've been so lucky to meet some wonderful, wonderful people. I straightened myself out by moving away from the environment. That was the only way I could get away from it. If I'd stayed in that environment, I'd have become one of them people who got prison, stayed in prison, and all that shit. Because I don't never judge a book by its cover. I take people as they are. And I've always come across as you are a fighter. You are a lovely bloke with your kids. You're under a lot of pressure in the situation you're in. You and Ailey are a breath of fresh air for me. Double ample. Sometimes I read it, I think, fucking hell, I couldn't live in that madhouse. But I tell you what, I really have all, and I just don't say this all the time. You're one of the group, and I don't judge people from how wealthy they are or how.
No, I know. And do you know, Chris, I said this. I had a conversation with, like I said, some of the people I talk to most, Shadi being one. I don't speak with Julian Lees all that often, but we do keep in contact. Ray Townsend, I speak with all the time. Another absolute diamond. But Alan Chadwick, honestly, without that guy, I probably wouldn't have even still been here. It was Alan that kind of put me onto you, got me down to the seminar, you know.
Yeah.
Then we had the seminar at Catherine's. Alan Chadwick is a diamond.
Yeah.
Like, even down to like Leanne Vine, I had this chat with the other week.
Yeah, lovely girl. Yeah.
When I went through, you know,
yeah.
I went through a shitty period. That phone call meant everything. Not seeing you for fucking 4 years, but that little 10-minute phone call.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're into the blue zone now. I'm just concentrating on what I want to do.
That's it. And I wish you all the success, Kieran, and keep doing what you're doing, enjoying life, but trying to push forward. Good on you, mate. And thanks for coming on live. I think everybody's enjoyed it. You got a lot of great comments on here, and it's been a pleasure, mate.
They can actually understand.
You'll be able to watch this back now and listen to it and think, freaking hell, you did all right there. You handled it really well, Kieran. You did well. It was constructive. It was.
You're saying this now, beats going fast. Tends it, does it? I will watch this back now. I think, fuck.
Catch you later, boy. Nice talking to you. Look after yourselves and your family. Yeah.
Thanks for having me, Chris. Everyone for coming in. Sue, love you loads. Stop taking no shit off that, man. You know, score.
Catch you later. Cheers, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. And, well, I'm not sorry it's a long night tonight, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. Good night, all.
See you later.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well done, Kieran. Well done, mate. That went well.